This can't just be another news cycle or another Tuesday. There needs to be justice. We owe it to Virginia and every survivor of Epstein's to finally get the full truth of how this happened and who allowed it to happen. That's why I'm going to again call for the full release of the Epstein files. Let's bring this evidence out, stop the secrecy, the cover-ups, and the protecting of these elites. The American people deserve the truth, and Virginia deserves transparency, accountability, and healing. At a press conference earlier today, another Epstein survivor said, "Today, we stand in a moment that will decide whether our government belongs to the American people or to those who prey on them. We owe it to her and to every survivor to choose accountability and release the files." I yield back.
The clerk will report the motion to vote cloture.
Cloture motion.
All right, we were just hearing from several lawmakers on the Senate side, and really the big news coming just moments ago from Senator Chuck Schumer on the floor there of the Senate, saying that as soon as the bill comes on over from the House, they want unanimous consent to take that bill up and send it to President Trump. So we are going to be keeping an eye on all of the really fast-moving parts here from the House side to the Senate side and then to President Trump. But I want to continue on the subject here, bring in a friend here of LiveNOW from Fox with Deseret News, Cami Mondeaux. Great to have you on, Cami, on this really fast-paced day. So just set it up for our viewers now. What is going to happen in these next stages here?
Absolutely. So what we just saw with Chuck Schumer on the floor there is he requested unanimous consent that once that bill is sent over to the Senate, it is considered automatically passed without changes, and it will go to President Trump's desk. So it's kind of like this very, very quick conclusion to what is months of drama on Capitol Hill. But that will be considered passed once they can do all of those procedural processes and it goes over to the Senate. It'll go straight to the White House.
Yeah, it's really fast-moving ever since really this weekend where President Trump said to Republicans, okay, pass it.
Absolutely, because what we saw last week when they did swear in Democratic Representative Adelita Grijalva, getting that 218th and final signature on that discharge petition, despite some, last-minute maneuvering, trying to get one of those Republicans to come off of the discharge petition, that didn't work. And so I think what President Trump and a lot of these Republican leaders anticipated was that over 100 of these Republican members would have broken party lines anyway, so they gave it their blessing to just kind of, accept what was going to happen and let the chips fall where they may, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, so many people want to know now from this moment to the president. So really everything now is going to be the decision for President Trump to either sign it or veto it.
Absolutely. What he has indicated in the last few days is that he will sign it, just because he did tell Republicans that they could go ahead and pass it. Once it is signed, there are still some legal questions about what the Justice Department can do. In their last investigation, it had concluded and they had released all these files. Republicans and some Democrats are saying that there's still some that need to be released, but there is already another investigation that is ongoing, so that could block the Justice Department from releasing some things. So there are still some legal questions about what they can actually put out there and what they will put out there.
And I think a lot of questions too still remain as far as the timeline of why now, and maybe not why during the Biden administration was this trying to be really forced. Why now, do you think?
Absolutely. And that's a main question that Republicans are bringing up, is because Democrats were in charge all those 4 years. Now, why is it coming up? I think one of the catalysts was that President Trump did make it one of his, cornerstones of his 2024 campaign. So it was already in the discourse. And once he had kind of made that switch of we don't need to do it, it's a hoax, that gave Democrats just a great political opportunity to jump in there. So I think that's really what the change was. It was just a political opportunity that kind of switched places.
And lastly, Cami, what kind of a fallout could happen once this is signed by President Trump and we see more of the files?
I think you're going to see both sides start being very specific about what they release and what they amplify. We've already seen the House Oversight Committee, which is investigating the Epstein files. You're seeing Democrats being very specific about what they release, making sure it has Trump involved, prominent Republicans, whereas Republicans, you're most likely going to see them try to find any trace of, the Clinton family or any Democratic sources. So you're probably going to see both sides just start scrambling for anything that, amplifies their own messaging on this.
All right, Cami Mondeaux, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. Really a fast-paced day into the afternoon and evening hours. We appreciate your input as always.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You take care. All right, everyone. And we are going to be keeping an eye on the Senate floor in case any other senators continue to speak. But we just saw that moments ago for Minority Leader Schumer saying as soon as the House sends us the Epstein bill, the Senate should move without delay to pass it unamended and send it on the president's desk to be signed into law. That is what we saw just moments ago. And then Cami Mondeaux, who we just spoke to, saying that the Epstein bill has passed the Senate through unanimous consent. Schumer requested that it would pass the Senate automatically once it was received by the House, and no one objected. Very quick end to this months-long saga. So we will keep an eye as well on the Senate floor. If we get any more reaction there, of course, we will bring that to you on Live Now from Fox.